Hey everybody, it's Kaladesh, and welcome back to another premiere draft of Kaladesh Remastered. Now, you might be wondering what's going on here. Why are we drafting Kaladesh Remastered? This hasn't been on Arena in a very long time. Well, the reason is that these next couple weeks we're going to have pre-recorded videos. I'm going to be drafting a huge variety of formats for you all to tide you over with some daily videos as always while I am out on vacation. So it's going to be a bunch of pre-recorded stuff over the next 2 weeks, but I'm going to be recording it over several months so we get to show off tons of different draft formats for the ultimate kind of variety draft couple weeks here leading up to the launch of the Final Fantasy Magic set right when I get back from vacation. So really exciting stuff on the horizon for you all. For now, we're going to be playing a little bit of everything. Should be a fun time again while I'm out and unable to do super up-to-date content. So without further ado, let's just start these couple variety draft weeks with some Kaladesh Remastered. All right, for our pack one, pick one, we have a couple really nice options. Beaumont Courier being the best monocolored card. Technically is colorless. You could splash this in if you have some prophetic prisms and stuff, so slightly more flexible than your regular monocolored card, but pretty much still a red spell. And then the Rogue Refiner here, which is a really good value play for exactly a green-blue deck. So we have a really color restrictive and a really not very restrictive card here. I'm going to lean towards the one that's less color restrictive when they're both pretty powerful, although I do think in raw power, Rogue Refiner is probably a bit better, a bit more consistent with its card draw, whereas the Courier, you have to ideally have it in like your opening hand, get a few attacks with it, and then have it still be around much later in the game to get that card draw. So less consistent as a card draw spell, but potentially draws even more cards if it plays out well. Just a great card in general. Pick two, the love of my life, Self-Assembler. I can never pass you. We've got other really nice cards, cheap removal from Pyro Helix, Weldfast Engineer, nice for an aggressive artifact-heavy deck, but I'm going Self-Assembler. Fits into our deck no matter what colors we end up playing as an excellent way to top off our curve with a gigantic army of 5-mana 4/4s. Pick number 3 now. We've got Ether Swooper for the best colored spell here, and then Inventor's Goggles for staying flexible, as every color has quite a few Artificers, plus Servo tokens, Thopter tokens, just +1/+2 on any 1/1, turning it into a 2/3. Make sure that those cards stay relevant. So Goggles is quite nice, but I think Swooper's strong enough to take over it here and be a little bit more restricted there. I don't think Motorist is enough better than Ether Swooper to take here, though. Take a multicolored spell over a monocolored spell. Pick number 4, we got a Thriving Rhino. This can be some absolute beef out of the green decks. By itself, it gets to attack as a 3-mana 3/4 the first time you send it in, and that's a pretty great stat line for this format. There's not a whole lot else going on in this pack, so I'm really happy to take a Rhino here. Pick number 5, Attune with Ether is actually pretty solid. It's unless you really care about Revolt, which is having a permanent leave the battlefield during your turn, it's just a much better version of the Renegade map, which is a 1-mana artifact you can crack to grab a land. But it's really nice for the decks that care about energy, and if we're going to be green, we're going to care about energy at least a little bit for our Thriving Rhino. So I like the Attune here. I also like Metallic Rebuke, although I do prefer this in basically any other blue color pair than blue-green. If we do end up in blue-green, this won't be incredible, but it'll still be a good counterspell. This is really good in the color pairs that spit out Servos and Thopters, that have vehicles sitting around, that have Prophetic Prisms, stuff like that, which can be any deck, but it's mostly the non-green decks. Pick 6, Hinterland Drake's perfectly fine in this format. Flyers play really well, and the rest of the pack is quite filler. Pick number 7, Dawnfeather Eagle's the spiciest colored spell out of this pack, but there's also a Prophetic Prism and a Renegade map for colorless fixing. I certainly prefer Prism over Renegade map, as it can filter your mana turn over turn instead of just giving you the one basic land that you choose. But Dawnfeather Eagle is tempting. That might be strong enough to take over the flexible spell. I think I'm going to. I already have one attuned towards fixing if we end up needing it. Hopefully that goes a long way. Pick 8, Self-Assembler. Let's go. This is a really good pack for us. It's kind of sad we can't take multiple of these cards, but Seed Sculptor is another really solid creature, just a 2-mana 2/3. by itself is a good stat line, but it plays really well with cards like Ether Swooper. Turning that into a 2/3 flyer is a big deal, or just any flyer really. Buffing up is going to be good. And then Sky Skiff is great in pretty much every deck in the format. Just a flexible cardless spell, but gotta get them self-assemblers. Pick 9, another Dawn Feather Eagle. Love to see it. Wonderful top end for the white decks. Pick number 10. Not a ton going on here. This could be 2 creatures off 1 spell, which plays fine with the Dawn Feather Eagles we've got working for us. Does not look like we're going to be able to end up in a red deck here for our poor little Beaumont Courier. We have just not seen any good red flying around. Some solid white, though. Propeller, Pioneer, into Dawn Feather Eagle's a really good curve. And here's a bunch more white. These are all much more filler. I'll go for the Impeccable Timing with no removal yet in our deck. Pick 13, nothing much. Pick 14, nothing much. Let's see what we open up. For our rare pack 2, pick 1, it's a Metalwork Colossus. Pretty fun build around, not very good with what we're doing right now. You need to be a deck with a ton of vehicles and Prophetic Prisms and stuff, reducing this card's mana value. Doesn't look great here. Maverick Thoughtburst is by far the strongest card, but it's also pretty far from where we're at right now. I mean, I've got 3 completely colorless spells. I think we'd have to splash it in. Red did not seem open in the slightest. Green, blue, and red all care about energy, so we could go green, blue, splash red maybe off of some Attune with Ethers and stuff. Then we get to splash Courier in as well. A little sad to ditch the white here. Some of the strongest cards we were getting past late were white. This is a bit speculative. I don't want to fully commit off of this pick, but I do think we have to take Thopterist over any green, white, or blue spell in this pack, because the gap in power level is so huge. Alright, pack 2, pick 2. Druid of the Cowl's perfectly fine. Propeller Pioneer's perfectly fine. Daring Demolition's pretty solid, but trying to lock in on black at this point I think is a little difficult, because they're double black cards as well. Daring Demolition and Aetherborn pretty color restrictive too. I'm going to stick on our green here, take Druid. If we go deep on green, we could be a green-white, really creature-heavy deck, or green-blue splash red, like energy-heavy deck, and either of those will play really well. Pick 3. Another Propeller Pioneer, Metallic Rebuke, Welding Sparks. Actually are seeing the red here. Splashing a Sparks for the green-blue splash red, maybe. Thopterist is certainly cheaper than 5 on average. Yeah, I think Sparks would be the best addition to its respective deck if we can end up doing that. And here's a Prophetic Prism to help that deck out. I like that. Druid's also fine, but got to take this Fixing highly, and I definitely prefer Prism over Renegade Map. Okay, Attune with Ether over Renegade Map again. Thriving Turtle, Malfunction, Hunt the Weak, all fine, but definitely prefer Attune. Pick 6. Seed Sculptor for a 2-mana 2/3 looks really nice to fill out the curve, but we also have Wild Wanderer that can pick up a mountain when it enters the battlefield, which is pretty sick. Or a Wildest Dreams is a really good late game spell. Pick up all your stuff from grave and win the long game. Go for the biggest, splashiest spell here and grab Wildest Dreams. This is an easy Pima Outrider. Green is by far our deepest color, so double green should not be that difficult. Here's Arborback Stomper. Nice beefy green deck now. Love to see that. Technically, we are still like just as open to being green-white as green-blue-red. Because I have 4 white spells, I have 4 blue and red spells. If you combine those 2 colors, I have just as much white as blue and red here. So I want to keep that white path open. For all these late Propeller Pioneers, yeah, it could be better. Because I think all these cards have been pretty early picks, right? We swooped quite early. We Thopterus did pick 1. Sparks was like a pick 3. Yeah, white is just so much more open, and as such, it's going to make a much deeper deck, I think. Might be green-white. Really need 2 drops for that deck, though, which is awkward. I can still play the Attunes and a Prism towards Welding Sparks and Courier. We just don't play the blue parts, I guess. Here's a Hunt the Weak. Kind of filler, kind of expensive removal, and you have to have a big creature for it to work. Another Ornamental Courage. Line Filler Combat Trick. Courier we can play even if we're not. Blue. Yeah, so green-white splash red or green-blue splash red is what it's going to be. Maybe green-red splash white. All of our good white spells are late game plays. I really need good 2 drops right now. I need to work on this mana curve. So if I just scoop up like 2 Ether Chasers for good 2 drops in red, I can go green-red splash white instead, because all the white spells, again, 4 or 5 mana cards. That actually sounds pretty reasonable to me. This is not a good Metallurgic Summonings deck. We're not going to be super instant sorcery heavy. I've got a few. I've got like... They're mostly 1 mana, though, is the problem. Alright. Pack 3, pick 2. Okay, Thriving Rhino is enough stronger than these 2 drops. I'll take it here, despite mana curve issues. This is the weakest Gear Hulk, but it's still the best card in this pack that we might end up playing. I mean, okay, now hold on. White might be more open than blue, but by going green, blue, splash red, I get to have a better curve just playing another Thriving Turtle here, a little more early game, because none of our white is helping our early game at all, awkwardly. Gear Hulk's fine, but it's really like a 6 mana 6/6 shoot your opponent a little bit most of the time. Unless you're a really aggressive deck where they can't afford to take the damage. Okay, green, blue, splash, red. Here's Chandra's Revolution. More removal. And then the entire pack of white. I can get 1 good cheap white spell, but if I play white as the core color, it's only 1 versus the 4 I'm getting out of blue. We can play Gear Seeker if we're green, blue, splash white, or green, blue, splash red. So I think we take that. Here's a Wild Wanderer for more fixing. Oh, another Thriving Rhino, though. I think I'd take the Rhino. I think we've ended up green-blue. Yeah, another turtle, too, if we need it. I've got 5 2-mana or less cards. I think that's good enough to run the better P-Mount Rider later. Oh, there's the goggles, too. Dang. There's a lot going on here. And I'll work on the curve. Come on in, turtle. Got a lot of 4s. I also have a lot of cards that care about energy, so I don't mind the Moray, but all of our energy carrying cards are just getting counters. We're not doing anything crazy with our energy. Yeah, I'll take the Drake, I think. Filler stuff. I guess I prefer this combat trick in this deck. Definitely like Metallic Rebuke. It's going to be an interesting one, because I think we're probably like splashing in a 4-color deck here. I mean, tons of green, and then just a dabble, tons of green, a little bit of blue, and just a small little dabble of white and red here, I think. Just 1 Welding Sparks, 1 Revolution, 2 Eagles. Okay, no, I still want the Propeller Pioneers, probably. But no impeccable timing. 23 creatures, so got like at least 6 creatures right now. A lot of creatures to cut. And then a few spells. Got plains, got mountain. 2 white spells, 3 red spells, but I have double attune and a prism. I think I can go 1/1 on each. 15 lands and 2 attunes. Basically 17 lands because these always turn into a land immediately. I think with double attune I have to go 8 green sources here, which makes the blue a little lower than I would like, but I don't need double blue until super, super late. Ideally. I mean, at this point, if all we're splashing for is double eagle, do I just play slightly more filler green and blue cards? Right, I can just play double drake instead of eagle. That feels better. I get to make the mana base a lot better too doing that. 1 more non-land to cut still. I just put 1 drake back in. And this looks pretty good. Yeah, nice splashy teamer energy pile, all in on the thriving cards instead of the servo and thopper producers here. Or producers here. Just going for beef. The beef is going to play well with our Hunt the Week here. Make some really big turtles and rhinos and just bash in for as much damage as possible with those, as well as some more just beefy green creatures up front like Arborback Stompers, Gear Seeker, Self-Assembler. Solid looking deck here. Pretty excited to see how it does. Without further ado, let's hop into the gameplay. Alright, here we are on the draw for game 1. Pretty excellent mana starting us off. I need the double green a lot before the double blue in case they kill Druid here, so I'm gonna set that up. We've got like 1 artifact maximum here, so Gear Seeker is gonna be a very late game play. Okay, here's Druid. Our opponent does start with one of the best 2-drops in the format. All the Ether cards, pretty absurd. Ether Swooper starts it off, get the flying damage in. Get the servo token. Okay. Bunch of rhinos here. Bunch of mana up from a blue deck. Feels most likely they just have a counter spell here, and I'd rather them counter an outrider than a rhino, actually, with the energy we have going here. Okay, no counter. Seems nice. Ice over the outrider. Still gets 1 attack and still holds off their creatures. Super fine by me. And let's start running out the rhinos, I suppose. Guess I could have poked for 1 with Druid there. Riparian Tiger, that's a problem. Now my rhino cannot attack in. Another attune. Sure, I'll thin a land out here. Well, we get to sit here taking 1 a turn for a while now. They can't attack with the tiger too well because of our Pima Outrider. I could double block with an Outrider and a Rhino. I only really lose the Rhino because the Outrider's already been iced over. I mean, in fact, if they don't have a combat trick, I really only lose 1 card. because 6 damage does not kill both Outrider and a Rhino. The Riparian Tiger, I should mention, because basically nobody watching this has drafted Kaladesh recently at the time that this video is going live. Riparian Tiger allows them to spend an energy to get +2/+2 till end of turn when it attacks. Okay, so 6/6 Trampler. Coming in. If they want a combat trick here, I think it's a pretty fine deal since they've already spent a spell dealing with Pima Outrider. Cool. Rhino trades up into Tiger. And then Lifecraft Cavalry for the 6/6 is the play, makes sense. Here's Prophetic Prism, draw a card. Find Chandra's Revolution. Sadly too late for that to matter a lot. I don't even think I cast it just on a 1/2 flyer. Oh, they don't use it on Cavalry. I was going to say I'm just going to trade a Rhino up into a 6/6 again. If they allow me. Okay, they just don't attack with it. That's also fair. Oh, hello. That's such a win. Okay, my graveyard sucks right now, so we want more stuff to die first, but then this is definitely the win. Right now I can pick up 3 things from grave. I'm 1 land away from picking up 4 things from grave, so I just need to get some things in grave first. Shipwreck Moray, a couple more servos if they want them, but they're keeping the energy for the Moray. I guess at this point I should Revolution the Swooper. Just pick the Revolution back up with Wildest Dreams later. Trophy Mage. Oh, they opened an Ether Sphere Harvester. Always brutal when your opponent has a rare 3-drop artifact to go with the Trophy Mage. Okay. Even Wildest Dreaming's back Revolution is not going to do anything about the flyer, because it's a vehicle. I kind of think I'm just dead now. We just don't have, I mean, this format in general just doesn't have ways to deal with vehicles. We have to hit Welding Sparks. We need instant speed removal. The 3/5 Flying Lifelink coming in hot. I only have 3 turns to live, or find the burn spell. Courier does nothing this late. Might as well, because I have such a small amount of time to live anyway. Pick all these up. Unless they've drawn into Rebuke, in which case it's not super relevant in the first place. Okay. Mainly we're just going to be thinning 2 lands more out of the deck to make it slightly more likely to hit the sparks. Got 2 draw steps to do so. If we can hit it, we are now super, super ahead on cards. But if I can't hit it, I'm just literally dead. Gain 5 is a big deal. Gain 5 really is. Okay. Haven't played a land for turn, so the guarantee is that we tap 1 land to put the next one out. And from there, we decide. Now that I'm gaining 5, we could be racing here. I also have 4 damage to clear out a cavalry. Post blocks. If it blocks something with at least 2 power. Moray can be a 2-3 or a 4-1. They could block a 3-4 with a 2-2 and a 2-3, and I only kill one of the 2. That's not a good deal. I have no combat tricks in hand. They could block a 4-4 with a 2-3 and a 2-2, though. That's even worse. 5-6, 2-3 and a 2-2 does not work. Go 4-1 and a 1-2 or something. They could put the 6-6 there, and then I get to revolution it. I think I have to just make some bad trades to break through to try to speed in fast enough to get the kill later. Spending 4 on Revolution, 5 on Stomper this turn, I believe. Let's go... Do they have a better kill on Rhino than they would on Assembler? Right, a 2-2 and 2-3, boom. Rhino has a 3-4, 2-2 and 2-3, boom. Or... what else? 2-3 and 1-2? No, that's 3 power. It's going to be 4. Yeah, they don't have a better kill on Rhino, so I think I hold Assembler back over Rhino here. But I can't let like a single other creature hit me, really. So I don't want to go too ham here. Oh, just a chomp? They are at 26, so they can take some of this damage for sure, so letting the Rhino through makes sense, but this block is weird. They must have something to kill the Serpent off this block. Yeah, double buff combat trick. And if they combat trick here, that's a combat trick that's not going at my face. Okay, they just misread the Moray, I guess. Cool. So Stomper first while I have more mana on tap to make sure I'm gaining the life. And then just as much power as possible. That would be Rhino plus Courier. Next turn, if I don't draw land, I just attune play the land. I guess because Courier has haste, I could just attune here so that I'm less likely to top deck a land next turn. I've got 4 blockers up on the ground. Yeah, I'll attune. And just haste the Courier next turn. Oh god, please tell me they don't have double Trophy Mage, double Harvester. That would be an absurd deck. I mean, double Trophy Mage with 1 Harvester is already very good. It's not relevant at this point in the game, but just to have it in your deck is really nice. That's basically 3 copies of Aethersphere Harvester, which is brutal. Whew. Aethersphere Harvester and Filigree Familiar, they have some premier 3-drops for the Trophy Mages. Hit for 3, gain 3. We're down to 8. 3 turns from dead. There's the Welding Sparks for the Harvester. So we sparks that. Oh my god, they crewed with cavalry, by the way, which makes our attacks phenomenal. So I sparks that and just kill them over time with Gear Seeker now as our mana sink. Got other stuff I want to do with my mana this turn, so I'm not going to Gear Seeker out right now. I only have to worry about how 2/2s stack up on blocks, which makes the math really easy. 2 2/2s against a 3/4 is good. 2 2/2s against a 4/5 bad. 2 2/2s against a 4/4 bad. 2 2/2s against a 5/4 bad. We are absolutely jamming at this point. I do not want Gear Seeker Serpent to get triple 2/2'd though, now that it will be relevant to keep sending it unblockably. Now that we do have time to do that, I should say. Alright, solid value for our opponent thanks to Filigree Familiar here drawing them a card. But they take a good chunk of damage. I'd like to keep an additional 3 up post Welding Sparks, so I want to keep 6 up after whatever I do. Do I have 11 mana? I have exactly enough to cast Welding Sparks and still have 3 additional mana untapped if they have Metallic Rebuke. They're green-blue, so Harvester declaring an attack doesn't matter. There is a combat trick in this format in red and in white, where they give +1/+1, or sorry, +3/+3 to specifically an attacking creature. So then it could be relevant to like shoot it before the attack is declared. Welding Sparks is currently deal 6, but if they target Harvester with this, I'm going to respond with it anyway, because then they can't blow up one of our artifacts in response to the Welding Sparks to make it too small. If they make Harvester 6 toughness and then also have Appetite for the Unnatural, which destroys target artifact at instant speed, then they could destroy one of our artifacts in response to us trying to Welding Sparks the Harvester, at which point it would not take enough damage to kill it. Okay, so I will just Sparks right now in response to that. Awesome. This is now a very winning board. Still down to 8 life, and they've got a big 6/6, so I gotta be moderately defensive about this, but it just looks incredible. Alright, yeah, there's the concession from our opponent. That was a very long, drawn-out game, but we start things off 1-0 heading into game number 2. Alright, here we are for game 2. No blue source, I think, makes it close to a mulligan, but if I draw any land, I've got Outrider and Revolution, and we are on the play. I might just get swooped by my opponent's 2-mana Ether Swoopers and stuff, but we'll see. Outrider Revolution's a pretty strong mid-game here. Mulligan from our opponent. Forest to start them off, and here's Prophetic Prism for Swooper turn 3. Little bit slow, but way better than it could have been. Playing against a green-white deck, they start with Restoration Specialists. We're swooping. Livecrafter's Bestiary, that's a problem and a half. Every single creature they cast can draw them a card now. So we have to play the aggressive role here by a lot, because if the game goes long, they will win every single time. They're going to scry one every turn, and they're going to draw an extra card every time they play a creature. That is an insurmountable amount of card advantage for a long game. So we need to do everything in our power to make it not a long game. Interested in maybe playing the Servo there to go with our Improvised Rebuke. But I do already have 2 artifacts to improvise this. I guess I need the Prism for an island, though. Or for a blue. Dang, yeah, would have played a lot better to have the Servo if they have a removal spell for Outrider too. But obviously couldn't know that for certain. Hinterland Drake is the draw. Not a super aggressive hand like I'd want it to be. Yeah, not getting that Servo has played out really, really badly. Yeah, I probably should have gotten it, because the other thing is, like, the Servo's really good against the 2-1 body, but with the Bestiary on their board, I was just really expecting, like, a decently sized creature to be the play this turn, where the 1-1 body isn't really relevant. It's more about having an artifact to improvise with, but we also have the Gear Seeker Serpent, right? So if I hit a blue source, then the artifact is also going to be relevant for affinity. So it's relevant for both improvise and affinity. I should have just gotten the Servo there. I mean, 100% in hindsight, obviously, if they had the removal, you do that, but... Oh, did they just get auto-tapped out of drawing the extra card? I think they got auto-tapped out of triggering Lifecrafter's Bestiary because they have, like, 2 white spells in hand. That's genuinely brutal and really lucky for me. Get it out of the way. We're playing somebody chunky next turn, that's for sure. If we hit a land, we can play a chunky body and hold up Rebuke too. Go Stomper, hold up Rebuke. If I hit a land, if I hit a blue source, I can go Serpent, hold up Rebuke. But I need another blue to do that. Need triple blue. Druid of the Cowl plus draw a card, I imagine. Yep. And that holds the 1/1s off. Oh, Auto Tapper could have been holding up Restoration Specialist's ability, actually. There's the blue source. So... Serpent, hold up Rebuke. I think I prefer the Trample here. It's also easier to cast Rebuke this way. A little easier to improvise. That part doesn't matter too much, though, because I wasn't going to attack with either of these either way, I think. So I would have had the 2 artifacts up regardless. But I'm definitely not, like, tapping out for can't be blocked next turn, so I'd rather have Trample. They've got 6 mana up. They're at 10 life, though. The aggressive game plan's working fine. Glint Sleeve Artisan. If I rebuke right now, they have to choose if they want to draw the card or resolve the Artisan, but if I wait till they draw the card, I can just make sure they don't resolve the Artisan. Oh wait, no, they can do both because Druid of the Cowl. Gross. They do not draw the card. Okay. So they need the mana for the next card. Oh, it's Huntawee? It's gonna be nice. Boop that. Thriving Turtle. Plop some beef out here. Ten life. So I'll block, take some damage there. If they go block here, they take 5, 6, 7, 8, go to 2. Honestly, I can probably afford to attack with the servos too this turn. But I want to make sure I can still play Serpent plus Turtle post-combat for 2 more attackers. Now basically the only thing that saves them is Fumigate. So if they have Wrath of God, oh my god, they scribe to the top. The only card that would make sense would be like a board wipe with how wide our board is for the scry to the top here. Because like if it doesn't save them, you put it on bottom. Revoke Privileges does not. I guess they don't die. It saves them from insta-lethal. But they're very close to dead. They go to 2 life, facing 3 flying power. Okay, I'm not going to play Self-Assembler. Because if I do, then I could lose to a Fumigate, but if I don't, then I just can't lose, period, I think. Right at the top again. Scry to the top, scoop. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. That is 2-0 now. Work our way into Mythic on that one, which is pretty sick. Heading into game 3. Alright, here we are on the play for game number 3. Just going to get a turtle absolutely bashing in here. Well, 2/5 turtle off of its energy and the Attune's energy. The Attune finds the red for Revolution. And we're right on our way to the Outrider as well. Nice hand here. I don't have double blue for Gear Seeker, but it's also going to be a lot of time till I can cast that anyway. Playing against a white deck. Black, white. There's another turtle. Sure, I'll do 1/1/2/5 and 1/1/4. Aerial Responder. Never mind, we're gonna have 1/3/7. Well, no, I just Revolution the Responder. I think a 1/4 and a 2/5 is better. Make sure not all our eggs are in one basket for when they have a Revoke Privileges or a Daring Demolition or something like that. And there's a 3/2. Maverick Thopterist. If I fabricate with the Outrider, then I am guaranteed to be able to play Thopterus next turn, but I'm also not large enough to attack into the 3-2. So I'm going to put the counter on it. I'll have Prism into Thopterus soon enough at worst. And obviously any land draw on the deck and just boom, there it is. Airdrop Aeronauts, just a 4-3 flyer, sure. Self-assembler. Alright, well, we're drawing a card here. Oh my god, auto-tapper, I swear. Okay. I have 1,000,000 5-drops, and they are all fantastic. So we're just waiting for that, really. I will trade Outrider into Aeronauts all day. We trade up a mana and send 1 damage in at the same time. Frustrating. Gonti is one of the best rares in the formats. Oh my god, really? Gonti Aviary Mechanic? We still have a very legitimate plan for winning this game, but that's super annoying. Yeah, we start flying over, and then we start unblockably serpenting. I'll get some chip damage here. If I attack with only the 2/5 turtle, they can double block that, and I trade down into that. I'd rather chump attack with this to guarantee I get a couple damage in. Because again, the board's about to be so cluttered with like a Gonti that this is never attacking again anyway into a 2/3 Death Toucher. So just cash in that little bit of damage while I can, even if it costs me the other turtle, to speed up our flying and unblockable clock as quick as possible. Thriving Rhino, sure, nothing in the sky. The plan stays intact right now. And they know they have to race, so they're sending in. They don't hit removal. We poke for 2, and then next turn, we poke for 7. And that's the plan. If they do hit removal, we're going to need to survive to swing 4 more times. Not exactly removal, but now it's going to take a few other turns. Because, yeah, it's also the flying blocker. Never mind, that's actually really good here. Because it blocks the Thopters and stops the Serpent for a couple turns. What are the odds they got our other self-assembler here? That'd be kind of brutal. Okay, it's Thriving Turtles. Now the odds are 0. They got both of our Thriving buddies. That's kind of legit here. Against the Spire Patrol. Oh, I'm 1 mana off. I kind of want to just hold on to it then and use it on a trampler. If I'm a mana off from playing another creature here, when the other creature I'm going to play is a trampler that gains 5. Although then once I have... When Serpent untaps, I'm just going to put my mana into that. Yeah, no. I will Infusion here. Sending everybody hit for 3. Another Spire Patrol? You can't make it up. Double Gonti, double Spire Patrol. There's Fragmentize for one of the Thopters. Jesus. If they don't double block Thriving Turtle, I kill something for free. If they do double block it, I kill the flyer. Oh, they can't even double block it. So I just kill something for free, or I hit them for enough to make them dead to Gear Seeker next turn. This is 100% a turtle attack. Yeah, jump with Mechanic to keep the flyer. Here's Stomper. Go back up to 18 here and have a Trampler out too. Send in the patrol. You got it. All I can do is trump anyway. Revoke privileges the Serpent. Frustrating. You can double block Stomper with Gonti Rhino and I only kill Gonti. Play Swooper to make Turtle 4 power so that they can't even bounce their turtle off that. So they could Gonti eat the turtle, but then the Stomper lives. I guess they could single block with Gonti, but they take a lot of damage if they just single block the Trampler with a Gonti. Kill Thriving Turtle, take 2. Sure. And your Self-Assembler. And there's the concession from our opponent. That was quite the battle, quite the board to break through with the double Gonti trigger into the double Spire Patrol, slowing down our Gear Seeker long enough for them to revoke its privileges, but we still got there with the flying chip damage. And just some big, beefy turtles. That is 3-0 heading into game number 4. All right, here we are on the play for game 4. Courier into Druid, pretty nice. We'll get a few swings off with Courier before it gets blocked off, so that whenever we do hit the red source, if we're out of cards in hand, we do get to draw a couple off of it. Playing against the blue deck. Let's go. Another card for the Courier for later. Here's the Druid. There's Ether Swooper, so no more attacks for Courier. Because that blocks right now, and then the Servo blocks in the future. So much for the Courier now. We got our own Gear Seeker Serpent coming in next turn, which is nice. Unless they combat trick away our Swooper. Nope. Sage of Shyla's Claim. That'll give them another servo. So Welding Sparks. No red yet, though, so it doesn't really matter. Seeking some gears. Really seeking a red source over anything. Looking for Mountain, Attune, or Prophetic Prism, ideally. Bomat Bazaar Barge, great value and a huge blocker. 5/5 to get crewed up. Flooding out with all non-red sources, sadly, so we're not doing a whole lot over here, but we can start getting some damage in, putting them on a quick Gear Seeker Serpent clock as the plan. Do something that they have to deal with if we don't find red. Oh, you know what's a little rough? What's a little bit of a nombo? Our one of Beaumont Courier, if it gets our one mountain, that reduces the number of red sources in our deck by a lot. Then there's only a Prophetic Prism left in the deck. Alright, disgusting. Gigantic Bazaar Barge shooting our Serpents, and now we've got no shot if we just keep hitting non-red sources here. If I hit more green or blue spells, we could try to find an alternate plan for this game. Or if I hit a red source, then we've got decent shot off of the Courier draw and the Sparks to deal with their scariest threats. But if I hit Forest or Islands, then we lose. Alright, so could make a servo for fun. Doesn't seem particularly relevant on this board. We're kind of just hanging out, staring at each other. Honestly, I'm just getting beaten down by a Bazaar Barge now. I can't really do anything about that. Another Ether Swooper. Take the auto equip. Crew. I'll just move the equipment anyway. Sure. See if we draw anything relevant. Nope. I'm good there. That is 3-1 heading into game 5. Here we are for game 5. It's a pretty bad opener, but I'm one land away from an Outrider, and I'm on the play towards that Outrider. Arena, take the wheel. You're going to do what you're going to do. Let's see how it goes. Alright, Rhino into Outrider. Would have been a reasonable keep in the first place. So pretty happy with the draw. Hunt the week. Uh-oh. I'm gonna draw... If I draw no lands in the first 3 draw steps, this will be sad. I don't actually Outrider here. Wow. Alright, well, I mean... Sort of the land. But I don't get to Outrider here. Rhino's still doing some work. And here's Hinterland Drake instead. Come on in, I'm very happy to race with this hand. Scrap Trawler doesn't do anything right now. 5 mana. Just play a Peem Outrider. We are going big, and we are racing. So make the 4-4. Self-assembler could be really good value for our opponent, depending on how many copies they've got in the deck, but even just 2 is pretty gross for us here. High Spire Infusion, also pretty gross, though, on this board. I can't hunt the weekend Infusion, so let's just swoop her for another counter on Rhino and then hold up Infusion. Cool. Keep the Rhino, I think. Yeah, it's such a chungus. I want to keep the Rhino. Especially when I'm getting even more energy for it. Hunt the Weak could just be lethal here if they like tap out for an assembler. Tap out for an assembler. 1 blue mana up, but that's not enough for Metallic Rebuke. They can't improvise the assembler. They could have the 1 blue mana return a creature to our hand, but they don't. So that is game. We are 4-1 heading into game number 6. All right, here we are on the draw for game number 6. We're 4-1 right now. We got a positive record no matter what. And this is a solid hand. Drawing the blue source makes it even better. A little bit high on mana now. I mean, 5 lands total, basically. But we get to start with the turtle instead of starting with the Attune, and just immediately start getting counters on that bad boy. Let's get the second blue for Gear Seeker, and then next Attune can get the red. Bestiary. That, as we saw earlier today, a massive problem if they can survive a long game, and this is an even less aggressive hand than last time, so this is going to be an issue. They did start on triple planes, though, so they're going to need that to scry into a forest for them. Scry to the bottom, draw for turn. Planes 4. 4 mana, no creatures to play. Awkward, but hit with a 4-power turtle, I guess. Or a 3-power turtle, sorry. That's funny. Skywhaler shot, scry 1. 2-power turtle would have dodged that. I think... Do I lose so badly if the game goes long that I need to just Wildest Dream the turtle and poke for 1 again next turn? I don't think so. I feel like I should still keep this for at least when one of these big cards dies. Try to get damage with that. We know they're hitting a second color at this point. Cloud Blazer? They're a Bant Bestiary deck? They kept a mono white hand in Bant. I guess really relying on that Bestiary. Yeah, that's working out for them, because our opener was real slow. If we were one of our more aggressive decks, they might just be dead by now. Yep. There's the green source for the Bestiary, and that's gonna lock in the value plays for the rest of the game. Try to get rid of the lifelink to have a chance about racing here. Renegade for the death touching blocker. Untethered Express for just an absurd magic card in general. That's the worst draw in our whole deck. Well, just play Self-Assembler and be sad about it. I need it out for Gear Seeker. It's right at the top. Start jamming with Express. They're Vigilant too with the Eagle. Draw another card. I don't know if I even have time to go for the triple Serpent attack at this point. I have to tap out this turn, and I have to tap out 3 turns in a row, casting nothing else, just spending all my mana on unblockability. They've got an Express and an Eagle and a Cloud Blazer hitting me. There's no way that outraces them at this point. So I have to do something else here. Sparks poke for 1. That's also really bad because I'm just, again, just sitting here as they get farther and farther ahead. Guess I just play it for now. But I'm going to be casting other stuff most likely. Kaladesh Express is pretty broken. Getting real close to having to let them kill Stomper. To kill it. I mean, I just don't think it matters against Bestiary at this point. They still have 4 in hand here, and now they've got the gain 5 from another Stomper, 5-4 trample. I'm good. I'm not going to keep playing it out for my 0.1% chance of victory. I'm gonna move on. We got Bestiaried. Here we are for game 7. All in on the Turtle Club. Ether Poisoner from our opponent. I will trade you for a turtle. Opponent says no. Alright, well, then we'll just get a servo soon enough to keep that poisoner off of us. Oof. Whenever I cast a non-creature spell, I lose 2 and they gain 2 now. Yikes. Pretty good. I have to shoot myself to rebuke their next play, but I imagine it's going to be worth it here. Certainly worth it. So sit here on a board stall till I can Wildest Dreams for a bunch, is the plan. Still a board stall, even through the Thopter Arrest. Oh, why are you such an issue, Campbell? Get shot to play Prophetic Prism. Get off the board, please. Pick up 2 cards from grave. A Revealed Rebuke is so awkward. But it's gonna be a long time until anything else goes to my grave. So I can rebuke their next creature, Sparks the Eagle to attack with my whole board. But they know about the rebuke, so they'll just pass if it's too expensive. Sure. Okay. Dai Young the Swooper is fine. Once the Eagle's gone, we're just attacking on the ground anyway. Or when it's still around. Guess I'll just have them think I'm out of removal. I'm tempted to play Revolution anyway to stun a land here. But it's probably better to play the removal that's already revealed. Ooh, Fortuitous Find. Combo. Time to get drained again. This card has single-handedly done the vast majority of the damage. What a jerk. Alright, top deck war, we have the winning board state, they have the winning life total. Let's see how it goes. Terribly. Immediately hit the 3/3 flyer, and now they have the winning board state and life total. Courier is so bad right now. I guess I draw one at least. I just get to cycle the Courier. I only get to block one Courier super well. Or one creature super well. So I think we do it like that, because they probably just want to block Courier anyway, so the rest actually get to get in for playing it out that way. Hello there. It's a pretty big one. It's not enough by itself. I'm getting 2 swings. Well, 3 swings. I can chump one of them. I still don't want to chump yet, because if I could just get a single other flyer, I can actually double block and kill Aeronaut. And I have a few ways to do that. Maverick Thopterist, Ether Swooper. I don't think I have any way to put a plus multiple counter on this Drake, but that would work too. Okay, so I have to jump with Drake next turn. Oh, man. Yeah, they kill me faster than I kill them. I should have attacked with Drake on an earlier turn. Might have even been able to get 2 attacks in with the Drake. If I attack with all of these on the ground, then they crack back for lethal because I only have 2 blockers up. Which means I can only attack with 3, and if I only attack with 3, I only hit for 1 extra damage. But I sack 1 servo to kill one of their creatures and hit for 1. Which is probably worth it. Shoot, if we end up losing here, I think this game was winnable. Unless they top deck removal right now, because I think we could have played this out in a way to have lethal next turn. And I don't think we have lethal next turn anymore. But we certainly could have gotten like 1 more hit with a Drake in earlier, or like another servo or something in earlier. We could have had this be lethal. God dang it. Just flood for my mistakes. Literally a single point of damage from winning this game. We definitely could have won this. A slightly different line earlier. That's as frustrating as possible. Very, very depressing way to end it. 1 single point off. Yeah, I mean, Campbell, absolute MVP. Drained us for like 8, I think. So we also had to hit them for like 28 throughout that game or something. All right, 4 and 3 it is. Still a solid run, especially at the mythic Qs. So we take those. That's a positive win rate. That's pretty much breaking even on gems here. I don't think the deck is phenomenally powerful or anything. We had to like splash around and stuff, and even then don't really have any bomb power in this deck. So 4 and 3 is a very respectable run, I think. Would have liked to see it do better, but I always would like it to do better. I can't speak right now. I'm speaking in absolute tongue. But hey, that is our premiere draft of Kaladesh Remastered. And that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.